Hey, what's going on, Louisiana? This is the voice of Clip speaking, and this video is only for open-minded, mature audiences. This video is for the state of Louisiana, for the people of Louisiana, not the Democrat Party, not the Republican Party. This is for the people of Louisiana. Okay, right now we have a governor that put the 10 Commandments back into the schools, right? The only state in the world, the only state in the United States to do it. Okay, so you have the governor of Louisiana just put the 10 Commandments back in the school. So I was wondering, like, what was the intentions? So, you know, I went on my research journey, and this is what came back to me. Proponents say the purpose of the measure is not solely religious, but that it has historical significance in the law's language. The 10 Commandments are described as foundational documents of our state and national government. I'll say that again. Proponents say the purpose of the measure is not solely religious, but that it has a historical significance. In the law's language, the 10 Commandments are described as foundational documents of our state and national government. Foundational documents, okay? We're going back. They say if you don't know your past, you don't know your future. So I'm like, okay, can I find him speaking more on this topic? And all I could find was notes and quotes. Notes and quotes. Every time a big issue, anytime anything major happens with the Louisiana governor, all I could find is notes and quotes. I can't find him talking, so I can't read his body language. I can't see his eyes to really judge his intentions. All I could find is notes and quotes. So the note and the quote that I found was, I didn't know that living the 10 Commandments is a bad way to live life. Okay, that's the way that comment came off, the way that note came off, the way that quote came off. It seems like a form of manipulation. It's like, who can go against the 10 Commandments? Okay, that nobody should really just go straight at the 10 Commandments. But why not the 42 laws of my ox? You know, 42 beat 10 any day. But we won't go there. The 10 Commandments, they're good. But the 10 Commandments has something standing behind it. The 10 Commandments is not just solely the 10 Commandments. It has more behind it, which would be religion, right? It would be religion, and specific religion, right? Okay, right. So let's move on. You remember when I said what the proponents say, right? The proponents say the purpose of the measure is not solely religious, but that it has a historical significance in the law's language. The 10 Commandments are described as foundational documents of our state and national government. So like I said, if you don't know your past, you don't know your future. So let's just go back into the past, because that's where he went with it. They're referencing the past, right? So let's go back to the past. Okay, throughout history, religion, including Christianity, has sometimes been used in negative or harmful ways in various societies, including Louisiana. One way, slavery justification. Many Christians in Louisiana, as elsewhere in the U.S., use biblical passages to justify the enslavement of African people, arguing that it was divinely sanctioned. Divinely sanctioned. Okay, that's one. Racial segregation. Some churches supported or remain complicit in the segregation of races, reinforcing discriminatory practices and ideologies within the community. That's another one. Conversion with coercion. Missionaries sometimes employed coercive methods to convert indigenous peoples, disregarding their cultural practices and belief. That's another one. Support for Jim Crow laws. Many Christian institutions and leaders endorse Jim Crow laws that enforce racial discrimination, neglecting the Christian tenets of equality and compassion. That's another one. Religious intolerance. Various Christian groups in Louisiana exhibited intolerance toward non-Christian religions, leading to discrimination against groups such as Jews, Muslims, and voodoo practitioners. That's another one. Censorship and control. Church authorities sometimes censored literature, particularly works advocating for civil rights or social reform, limiting freedom of expression. That's another one. Opposition to education. Some religious groups oppose public education initiatives, especially those that offered integrated schooling, undermining equal educational opportunities. That's another one. Misuse of charitable resources. Funds and resources meant for helping the poor were at times misappropriated or ineffectively distributed, aiding the powerful instead of the needy. That's another one. Conflation of nationalism and faith. Certain Christian factions promoted a nationalist agenda that conflated American identity with Christianity, marginalizing non-Christian citizens. Persecution of voodoo practices. The Christian community historically targeted practitioners of voodoo, leading to social ostracism. If you know this word, ostracism, please let me know what it is. Ostracism, violence, and legal repercussions against practitioners. Support of prohibition. Many Christian groups in Louisiana advocated for a prohibition, which led to criminalization and violence related to alcohol production and distribution. Manipulation of political power. Some religious leaders use their influence to sway political decisions or actions that upheld systematic injustices. Now that one's interesting. Healthcare disparities. Religious institutions often focus care on certain populations while neglecting marginalized groups. Discrimination against women. Certain Christian teachings were used to justify the marginalization of women, limiting their rights and freedoms within both church and society. Crisis of conscience during the Civil War. Some clergy supported the Confederate cause, framing it as righteous struggle, legitimizing a defense of slavery. Youth criminalization. Religious institutions sometimes align with law enforcement to criminalize youth behavior perceived as immoral, affecting countless young lives. Exploitation of indigenous lands. Christian missionaries often facilitated the encroachment on indigenous lands, prioritizing conversion over the rights and welfare of the original inhabitants. Obstruction of civil rights movement. Certain religious groups actively oppose civil rights initiatives, including desegregation and voting rights for people of color. Fear and guilt manipulation. Some church leaders use fear and guilt as tools to maintain control over their congregations, creating cultures of oppression rather than communities of support. Okay, now those were a few examples of the negative impact religion and Christianity had on Louisiana and even United States. Now let's skip past that. The governor of Louisiana just had a chance to be more like Christ than the Roman Empire that executed Christ. The Louisiana governor just had a chance to be more like Christ than the Roman Empire that executed Christ. You know, the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, he just pardoned 175,000 Maryland convictions related to possession of cannabis. When given the same opportunity, and if you don't know your past, you don't know your future. So when given the same opportunity to right the wrongs of all the disproportionate charges toward different ethnicities, the governor passed on pardoning misdemeanor marijuana convictions, even though it's known that this group of people is being disproportionately targeted throughout the history, throughout the course of Louisiana. This particular group of people, which would be brown people, people of color, was disproportionately targeted with the war on drugs. Now the governor of Louisiana had a chance to right those wrongs and be more like Christ, but he chose his political party over the people of Louisiana and righting the old wrongs of Louisiana. See, so if he's so concerned on putting foundational values in place, he's so concerned on the past. So let's go to the past. You could have went to the past and been like Christ, but you chose to be like the Roman Empire. And this is why he say he didn't expunge. He didn't expunge him. This is why he rejected the bill. He vetoed the bill. And like I say, I can't find him talking directly. All I can find is quotes and notes. But the quote in the note that I have, the governor says, "This appears to be an attempt to have Louisiana accept President Biden's invitation to the states to join his soft on crime, no consequences for criminals agenda." Okay, Louisiana is second in the world per capita, second in the United States per capita of incarceration. So when he come in and when he putting emphasis on crime, you understand that there's other stats and there's other facts. Like, let me find a few. Okay, if Louisiana is 49th in natural environment, 49th in economy, 49th in infrastructure, 44th in opportunity, 46th in healthcare, 47th in education, out of 50. Remember this, out of 50, and 50th in crime and corrections. I think you might want to put more emphasis on natural environment, economy, infrastructure, opportunity, healthcare, and I may not be the smartest person in the world, but I believe that all will push toward better living, which will decrease crime and corrections. But this is just a small note. I'm just a Louisiana citizen who love the people of Louisiana more than I love Democrats or Republicans. What's your take? What's your take on the governor putting the 10 Commandments back in the school, and what's your take on the answers he's given to the people? What's your take? Okay, before you give me your take, I have more information to present. Okay, more negatives, more ways Louisiana, with this complex and often troubled history of religious conflicts, discrimination, and harm under the guise of religion. Here are more examples. Okay, the Catholic Church played a significant role in the 1803 Louisiana Purchase, authorizing the sale with the Pope authorizing the sale of the territory to the United States. This led to concerns about the potential loss of land for Native American tribes and the rights of French-speaking settlers. Religion persecution of Catholics. In the early colonial period, Protestants, particularly Anglicans and Presbyterians, persecuted Catholics, leading to conflicts and violence. This included forced conversions, property confiscation, and even murder. Native American forced relocation. The Louisiana Territory was home to many Native American tribes, which were forcibly relocated by European colonizers and later by the United States government. This led to significant cultural and linguistic loss. Slavery and racism. We touched on that one already, but let's go one more time. The institution of slavery was deeply entrenched in Louisiana's history, with many slave owners using Christianity to justify their actions. The state's Catholic Church also supported slavery, leading to ongoing systematic racism and discrimination against African Americans. Another one, Ku Klux Klan activity. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Ku Klux Klan was active in Louisiana. perpetuating white supremacy and terrorizing African Americans through violence and intimidation. Anti-Catholic sentiment. Throughout Louisiana's history, there have been periods of anti-Catholic sentiment, including the anti-Catholic riots in New Orleans in 1834 and 1855. Crusade for Christ movement. In the 1920s and 1930s, a movement called the Crusade for Christ emerged in Louisiana, which sought to purge the state of supposed moral corruption through evangelism and revival meetings. This movement was often tied to anti-Catholic sentiment and was seen as discriminatory toward Jews, African Americans, and other minority groups. Religious-based discrimination. Look, let's just end it. Can we end it there? Let's just end it. If you can add to this, add to this. If you can add to this, add to this. But I'm here for the future of Louisiana, not Republican Party, Democrat Party. I'm here for the kids of Louisiana, and I won't let them be mind-effed. You get what I'm saying? I won't let them be mind-effed. I won't let them be fooled, and I won't let this trickery, cause obviously a lot of master trickery is going on. So that's all I have to say. I'm just one Louisiana citizen, and this is my take, and I'm gone. I'll pass it on to the other 100,000 or however many, whatever the population is. It's the ball in your court.